Hey guys, and welcome to week one of MGF 3684 Business Strategy. My name is Dr. Andy Kavanagh, and I'll be your Chief Examiner and lecturer for the first 6 weeks of this semester. You'll then have the pleasure of listening to Dr. Sarah Lindsay taking the lecture content for the remaining 6 weeks of the unit. But I will be certainly the Chief Examiner throughout the semester, and will hopefully be able to meet a number of you through the coming 12 weeks and get to know you a little bit better. In terms of the stuff, as I say, I am Andy. There are my details there. You can contact me primarily, probably via email is probably the easiest. I am based here at Caulfield with my office up in level 7 of Building N, and you can also find my phone number there. Sarah's details are listed below as your unit coordinator. Generally what we say though for the unit is if you do have a question, the workshop facilitator, i.e. or you might somebody that you may have known as your tutor in the past, is typically the best person to ask those questions, especially given that they're generally going to be the ones who are marking your assignments and other assessments. Then if you're not satisfied or if they can't answer this question satisfactorily, then speak to the lecturer and then come to your Chief Examiner third. Now, given that I will often be both the lecturer and Chief Examiner, that might make things a bit easier, but certainly that's the general process we suggest you follow. A little bit about me before we move on to the unit itself, just so you know who it is that you're hearing coming from your computer screens or your headphones. I've been at Monash here forever, as you can see. I've done 3 or technically 4 different degrees here, coming up through my undergrad studies into my honours year in management, and now having completed my PhD in management and international business. I won't go into detail about my research areas, it's boring and you can read about it yourself, but I do apologise in advance for the following 3 things which you're probably going to hear referenced throughout the semester. First is my love of cars. I'll use car examples wherever I can, and I'll try and make it as useful and actually relevant as possible, but that there is my 1966 Ford Mustang GT, and she is my pride and joy. I'm also the drummer of the greatest band that you've probably never ever heard of, called Vesper Lynn. There I am down in the bottom left of your screen there, absolutely killing it. I'm also, unfortunately, a St Kilda tragic. So you'll probably hear all sorts of St Kilda references over the semester. I apologise in advance for those, as I say. Alright, the learning outcomes for the unit itself. There are 4 that we want you guys to be able to demonstrate come the end of this semester. First of all, to be able to explain and apply the core concepts of business strategy. What are we actually talking about here? What are the main ideas that you guys should be expected to understand and sort of replicate by the end of the semester? Secondly, analysing and evaluating the influence of key contextual variables on a business's strategy. So what are those things that you guys as business managers will have to deal with when making key decisions in your jobs once you leave uni? Thirdly, applying and critically appraising business strategy formulation, implementation and evaluation concepts and relationships between them. One of the themes that you'll hear repeated throughout the semester is how this process of business strategy, how it's not the sort of thing you just do once, it's a constantly evolving dynamic process, and we'll go through those different stages and steps of the formulation, implementation and evaluation throughout the semester. Finally, illustrating and judging future directions and trends for forming, implementing and evaluating business strategy. What are the key issues that you guys are going to be facing once, not just now, but in the future, once you go and leave your time here at Monash and go and get jobs as business managers. Alright, in terms of the format of this particular unit, it is a flipped unit. So this, for some of you, may be a little bit different to the traditional lecture tutorial style. We don't have any in-person lectures as such. All of the content for this unit is delivered online. So there are videos and quizzes and a few other online readings and activities that you can do instead of having to come to the lecture and sit in front of somebody talking to you. So hopefully that means you guys can listen to this at your convenience whenever is best for you. What we would like you to do though, given that, is to try and catch up on that weekly lecture content by the end of, but certainly before your class each week. So it will be uploaded to the Moodle site and made available for you by no later than Friday the previous week. So that means obviously week 2, for example, the week 2 content will be available by the Friday of week 1. So make sure that you're on top of that, that you understand and have read the readings and materials that we post there for you. Attending workshops is a must. The reason why we say that is it reinforces all the things that we give you online, and certainly it will hopefully at least give you an opportunity to see how they can be applied in a more practical context and real life situations that you guys will be encountering throughout your time as business managers, and potentially even now as well. And perhaps even more importantly, we will also be giving plenty of assignment hints in those workshops. So we see it every single semester. The people who do best in this unit are those who come most regularly to class. So if you want to do well, please ensure that you're not only keeping up to date with those online content and readings and materials, but are also regularly attending your workshops. The workshops themselves do begin in week 1. Now, I can't guarantee that you will have Channing Tatum in your workshop, sort of 21 Jump Street style, but they are quite important, as I touched on before. Week 1 in particular is super crucial, guys. Number 1, you will have the great experience of getting to know one another in the class, or your classmates, over the next 12 weeks. There are also key concepts, though, that are going to be quite important for your first assessment task, which is a presentation, and we'll cover that in a second. That will be, we're going to start discussing those in week 1. So you need to make sure that you're in your workshop in week 1 so that you can, first of all, get into the group that you need to be in to complete that presentation, but also so that you understand these key things which we're actually covering in the presentation, as well as the first multiple choice in-class test, which is in week 4. Alright, the reading list. First of all, there is no required text for this unit. Now, we think this is a great thing. Hopefully it means it can save you guys a bit of money. We understand that textbooks are hugely expensive these days, so you don't have to buy a single thing for this unit. Given that, though, what we've done for you instead is provide a whole list of diverse readings on the Moodle site that we do expect you guys to be able to access and read fairly regularly. Now, what we've done is basically cherry-picked the best and most appropriate chapters from key textbooks within the strategy area and put them on the Moodle site within the reading list for free for you guys to access. So please make sure that you are keeping up to date with it. As I say, it's free, it's there whenever you want it, but we do expect that you have gone over those readings before your workshop each week, given that the workshop's activities will be based on the content and knowledge that is covered in the readings for that particular week. Alright, the bit that you really want to know, the assessment details. There are 4 or 5, depending on how you look at it, assessments that we will cover and that you guys will undertake throughout the duration of the next 12 weeks. The first that you'll encounter is an in-class test that will be held during your workshops in week 4. So if you have a Monday workshop, it'll be during the Monday class. If you have a Wednesday workshop, it'll be during that particular class. It will consist of 10 multiple choice questions covering the content from weeks 1 to 4, so 1 to 3 rather. So again, a key reason why you need to be attending these early workshops so that you can get an understanding of the information you need in order to be able to pass this test. Not just pass, do well in this test. It is worth 10%, as you can see there. The second assessment is a presentation, which combined is worth 40%. Now, as you can see here, there are actually 2 parts to the presentation. The first is the group presentation itself, which is worth 30% of the unit's marks, and it is due at the end of week 6, so Sunday 3rd of September on midnight of that Sunday. So by the end of week 6, we need you to have submitted a video presentation that you will do in a group. And the second part is worth 10% and is an individual peer and self-assessment task. This is due literally 24 hours later, so the Monday of week 7, by midnight that day. What we're asking you to do here is to effectively rate the performance of not only yourself but also your group members. So it's an opportunity to give valuable feedback, but also to see how you as well could also improve your performance. The presentation is based around a case study that we provide for you on the Moodle site, the case being IKEA in India this semester. So that information, as I say, is up on the Moodle site for you to look at your or when you need to. The third assessment is a second in-class test. This time it's held during week 10. It's worth 10% again. But the 10 multiple choice questions now cover content from weeks 7 to 9. So don't just get lazy after your presentation is due at the end of week 6. There is important information that you need to understand in the following 3 weeks after that we then assess in this second in-class test. The final assessment is a strategic business plan report, which is worth 40% of your marks for the unit. It's due effectively at the end of week 12, so Sunday the 22nd of October at midnight. You need to have submitted it by the end that day being the end of week 12. It is a 2,400 word report, and you will be given a choice of companies, and they'll be posted to the Moodle site around the middle of the semester. You choose only one and prepare a strategic business plan report that addresses 3 key questions which are outlined in the unit guide and will be discussed in detail in your week 1 workshop. So now that we've covered most of the details, the housekeeping details, have a look at the next few videos for this week for the actual content and the key things that we're going to be looking for you guys to understand for that first multiple choice test in a few weeks' time.